Hello YouTubers. I have been busy this weekend working on 4 different projects, and this one is another one for my new friends Ray and Danner. And let's see, their channel is here. This is Danner's Cronise channel, and he is, well, let's just play this for a second.
In this week's episode, I'm going to be giving you a little bit of history about the shed, and then I'm going to go on a tour with my sisters for the first time since we were little kids. Thanks for subscribing. This is Abandoned Shed, the Tiny House.
So I don't want to just play his entire video, but his dad, here's a good picture of his dad and he together. His dad originally built the shed like 17 years ago, I think it was, and it kind of got abandoned for a while, and now Danner, who's an engineering student, is renovating it, which I thought was really cool. So that's a little bit of a back story there, and I'll put links to his channel in the description if you want to follow along. Apparently his sister is some TikTok star, so I don't know much about her, but just I've heard him talking in passing.
I don't know. I think it'd be a pretty cool like getaway place, like not live.
So anyway, I didn't want to play their whole video, but anyway, I'm helping them with this SketchUp drawings. They saw my channel, and Ray did, his father, and apparently he's been watching my channel for a while. Thank you, Ray. Thanks to everybody who does that. And so I thought I would just help. I'm trying to make this a quick video, so it's not too long. But I'm trying to help Ray out with these slabs. And I drew these slabs, Ray, before I got your last email where you were talking about how you were gonna make them, form them up. So, but I just wanted to show you what I had so far. Let's turn off the top of the slab for a second, and let's turn off the welded wire for a second. And so what I was talking about was I had the bottom of this footing at, I think I had it at 16 inches, but I think you're going to do it at 12. And you talked to the local building inspector, and he said based on the type of occupancy you're looking at, you could do just one rebar around. So, and these are questions. I know they sound like statements, but I'm asking. And I did have just one up here because I thought, I didn't know, this might be a little anal, but I guess if it was me, I'd probably dig out a little bit up there just to get, a good undermining of that existing slab, especially if you look down there and there's, you're seeing the bottom of the slab. Might be good to dig down a little bit. But then, of course, you want to make this whole thing deep enough to where when you pull your screed across here, your theoretical screed, you still got enough room for 4 inches of gravel and 4 inches of concrete. So, and Ray's pretty familiar, and Danner's learning. He's smart like Alex, and they're about the same age, and so they'll pick this up quickly. So these slabs are really they're just a turn down slabs, what we call them, a monolithic slab, and it's just where you dig the footing around the edges, and then you'll form this up, and you pour it all at once. You pour your footing and your slab at the same time. That's why we call it a turn down or a monolithic slab. So I think Ray's got his mind made up on how he's going to do that, but I don't think it's a bad idea to use welded wire. And then I wanted to show you what I had. Let's turn on the walls. And mostly what I wanted to show you was the roof framing. Let's see first. But I did do these walls, and here's your garage door. And what I can do too is I can make a separate video on just the wall framing, and showing the pressure treated plate and the anchor bolts and all that. What's funny is these anchor bolts could probably be put in after. Sometimes if we forget one on some wall we'll just go in and drill it out and use an expansion anchor. This is not a huge building, so you could avoid trying to set those anchor bolts in the slab and just use expansion anchors later after your walls are set if you wanted to. But really what this video is about for me is I wanted to show you what I did with the roof framing, because you said you wanted, real quick, right here, I've got these two LVLs right here, and those get bolted to that existing band up there. Let's go and see if we can get in here. You just go through here and at least probably put in each pocket, just put a 6-inch lag bolt, 3/8 by 6-inch, going from this 2x10 into your new LVL, and that will help carry that load, that when you tear out that wall, he's going to make a big opening right there. And then you talked about, and I'm kind of talking to Ray, you talked about this having a dormer here, so let me turn on my roof framing, and then I'll turn on the wall a second. There we go. So this is what I came up with on the new framing. What I tried to do is show the new framing in a like a wood color, and leave Danner's existing model, just white like that. And so I came up with a 212 pitch that keeps this pitch kind of low, so it's not coming way up here on this gambrel. And I started to say mansard gambrel. And then I'm using 2x8 rafters because these are low slope. This is a low slope roof, and you've got more of an issue with loading out here in the middle. So I think, once you take this band and nail it to these rafters, and I've also got just a short block under each rafter going down to that floor. And what that's going to do is try to take the weight of this roof. Say you get a big snow, that's going to transfer the weight onto this wall down here, instead of trying to make these rafters lean, push them in like that. So, and I'm sure Matt will have something to say. Oh, by the way, I wanted to show everybody too. Where's Matt Baingswood? Matt Baingswood is a guy I had actually been watching a little bit. I watched some of his videos, and he's pretty cool. He's a young framer, young guy, but really smart, really good. And so he is apparently going to come out from California and frame this for them. So I'm not sure, why the artisans didn't get hired, but because we're from Tennessee. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Apparently Matt has more money than I do, because he's going to come do it for free. I'm just kidding, guys. So anyway, the reason I brought that up is because I'm sure Matt will have his own ideas, how to do these barge hangers. This is your barge rafter, and typically it would be a 2x4 if you're going to have a 1x6 fascia, which I think is big enough for this building. If you use a 2x6 barge rafter right here, you're going to end up having to use, a 1x8 fascia. So we usually keep these small, the sub fascia, this barge rafter and this sub fascia down here, kind of small if we got a small building. That way we can use a 1x6 fascia, and then all this will just be soffit under here. And I don't have all this drawn. I don't have all the blocking drawn, because I wanted to kind of get your approval on what I've done so far, because all this blocking is kind of nitpicky, and I didn't want to do something that I have to change a lot of later. I know, being lazy. But then I added this overhang right here, and the way that would be done is, it's kind of funky, but this is the way you have to do it. You gotta, this board here, this is a 2x10, you gotta notch it so that it is flush, and you gotta cut the bottom of it like that, so that it's flush with your barge rafter, and this one has to be cut like that at an angle. And then you'll have blocks between here. It'll look like a ladder, between there. But you mentioned something about maybe a flying gable. That's why I'm not finishing that yet. But doing it this way right here allows your roof to just come down and then go down this shed roof. You don't really want to try to continue this roof on down, because then you got to deal with putting the roof on this side. It gets messy. This is the cleanest way to do it, and it'll look original. You know, if you just try to let this roof come on down like it used to. Well, I don't think there's an overhang on it now, but if you did let this roof come on down, it would look like you added this roof on. This way it's all original looking. And then of course your dormer on this side, let's see if I quit scrolling, is, you know, we talked about having a 6-foot opening in here. Let's go in here. So you can set your desk in this window and look out. See if I can get turned around here. Sometimes this is kind of hard to do. See if I can get it. There we go. So your desk would sit in here. It's 6 feet clear in here, and I don't have the sidewall framing yet. Again, when I get all these sizes worked out with you, you know, to make sure this dormer is big enough, then I'll frame in all these little sidewalls, which are again tedious to do, and you don't want to have to redo them. So, and then this window is basically based on the concept of 2 square windows. So it's 32 inches tall and 64 inches wide. That's about as close as we can get to that golden ratio in this particular case, which artisans always do. We always design that way. We try to keep our proportions spiritual. And so, and this roof is a 212 also here. So you're going to have to use, on these 2 low slopes, you'll use like an R panel. There's Daisy talking to me. R panel, metal roof. And the reason you got to use something like this is because, look at that, the tin roof came up. That's funny. Where's my R panel? The ribs are higher. It's got higher ribs on it. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it right here. And I've used this on the last 3 houses I've built for myself, and I love it. And right here, of course, I use a color called Galvalume. Not a blue color. It looks like tin. It just looks like galvanized roofing, like this. But the reason you would want to do that is because these low sloped roofs are bad, for water to kind of siphon up. But if you just use those the right roofing, you can easily do a 212, and that's what these are. You can go down to a 112, with that R panel. Okay, so that's just a quick where I am, and let me know what you think about all this, and we will go from there. I'm really excited to see Danner getting into engineering. It's an exciting field. You can do just about anything you want to. The concepts of engineering transfer well over to just general business, and it's really cool. So this is going to be a cool project. So I would subscribe to those 2 channels, and I'll put the links in the bottom in the description, just so we can follow this along and see how it goes. It's going to be neat to see how Matt from Matt Bangs Wood comes and frames this after he sees how we would do it in Tennessee. He's probably going to have some fancy California method, but I'm just kidding. Ray and I've already talked about going rogue and using regular corners on the walls, so instead of California corners. So anyway, it should be fun. Just that kind of stuff will be fun, poking fun at each other about that kind of stuff. So anyway, this is an unedited video, by the way. So if I sit a lot, that's why I usually go in and cut those out. But I didn't have time today, so bear with me on the unedited videos, just raw video. Thanks a lot, guys.